Hello everybody and welcome! My name is Ursa Ryan and are you ready to see the car crash of today's series? You ready for this? You ready for this? Look at this. Look at that mess. Bless this mess, I say, because today we are playing as Lincoln. People who follow the channel and have watched for a little while will know that every now and then I leave community posts. Recently, we've been playing with this mod, the Historical Spawn Dates mod. I love it. Basically, civilizations spawn into the game roughly on the year that they existed. Now, the dates are a little bit fiddly because there are multiple different ways they could be categorized. Currently, I have it not on the exact date, I have it on just general era, hence why we've just joined a new era. But the idea is if you're playing somebody like Sumeria or Egypt, one of the civilizations that existed at the beginning of the dawn of civilization, then you'll be plonked in on turn 1 or thereabouts. If you're playing a civilization that spawned a little bit later, like England or France, for instance, or maybe even later than that, like Brazil, Australia, or maybe even, America, then you simply don't exist until very late into the game. I, Ursa Ryan, have had my computer running for, what time is it now? 2 o'clock. It's been about 2.5 hours. No joke, 2.5 hours letting a 50-player True Start Location Earth map load. The game has been playing itself for 261 turns up until the dawn of the modern era, turn 261, 1750 AD, when Lincoln and the American Empire have spawned in. I asked for community posts if you wanted to see something like this, and you overwhelmingly said yes. I asked who you wanted me to play as, you overwhelmingly said Lincoln and America, so here we are. The aim is simple in this series. It is turn 261. We have been given a start that is very complicated, and I will explain it to you in a second. We have to try and win. That is going to be more difficult than it may look. Let me tell you a little bit about what is going on. Now, the way that the Historical Spawn Dates mod works is that there is a spawn point for every civilization. Specifically, mine was kind of on this tile. I'm guessing that's where the game thinks that Washington roughly is. I mean, without seeing more of the continent, I can't really tell you. And let me just tell you now, this series is going to be full of me saying random locations in the US and kind of roughly where a state is, where I think it is. If you're from the American Isles, that's what I'm going to call it for today. If you're from the United States of America, you will have very strong opinions and joys about where the state borders lie on this map. Let me tell you now, I don't mind. I'm going to pick random areas and just say their state, so, you're welcome. Get used to it. Each civilization has a spawn point. Until the turn in which they spawn in, that spawn point might be totally blank, so I was just staring at this random area on the map for quite some time. I think the spawn point probably was where this antiquity site is. It was sat there, it wasn't really doing anything, it was totally fine. As civilizations spawn in, if somebody is over the top of them, they flip a city to them. So for instance, this was an English city and this was an Aztec city, but they have both flipped to me when I spawned in, because I guess the spawn point has like a sort of area around it and anything in that area is just claimed by me. That's been happening throughout the map. The later into the game you spawn, the more stuff you spawn with. You get huge chunks of great people points, you get chunks of faith, you get chunks of gold, and more importantly, you get technologies. Now, I have been spawned into the game with the technology at about 9th place. Somebody is already in space. We joked that this might happen. It's turn 261. There is one player who already is on the moon. They have smart materials, but they don't have nanotechnology. I suspect that's probably going to be either, because it normally is, Vietnam, because the AI plays them really well, Indonesia, because they've just got a lot of space, or Babylon, because Babylon is Babylon. Otherwise, the game's fairly innocuous. Nobody's really taken a religion. I'm playing with a couple of mods, by the way, to make 50-player games work. If you want to play this exact save file, by the way, I have... Yeah, you're going to love this. I've taken a save file 2.5 hours in, and you can just load this up, so you don't have to let the game load yourself. Come to Discord, grab a save file. I've also got a copy of all the mods that I use to make this work. Yet Not Another Map pack is the one that makes 50 players work. We've got prismatic colors to make sure that people spawn in properly, and then I've got greater religion mods as well, just to improve the number of religions and pantheons that spawn in. Hint, we have no pantheon. We're going to have that annoying glitch even with the greater religions mods on. What's it called? It's not called greater religions mods. Religion expanded, that's what it is. Still not enough pantheons in the game. I'm going to have to do a lot of shift enter, but never mind. The later you start into the game, the more stuff you have, hence why the cities that I've spawned with have so many units. I also have a couple of other bonuses. Because I count as a colonized civilization, or colonial civilization, aka someone colonized me into existence, Britain in this particular instance, I start with democracy unlocked, an era building in all cities. An era building is quite good actually. It's sort of the game's way of giving me a little bit of a bonus. 5 food, 5 production, 5 gold, 5 science, 5 culture, and 5 faith in every in every city, I should say, as well as 8 housing and 4 immunities. It's pretty good. It just stops your cities from falling apart right from the beginning. You also start with the Russian ability. Trade routes to advanced civilizations grant 1 science for every 3 techs ahead and 1 culture for every 3 civics ahead. So it's kind of encouraging you to go democratic, find an ally who's ahead of you, and then trade with them. As you can see here, modern era start. I believe the only other modern era civilizations in this game are Canada, Brazil, and Australia. Those are the 4 that all start in the modern era. We're the latest 4, and we should all be spawning on the same turn. So you'll probably see Manchester now getting flipped to Canada as soon as they spawn in. I don't know what's going to happen here. I also have a super monument. This increases loyalty pressure from all citizens until the era threshold for the number of cities has been reached, and it also gives me 50% less to produce districts with. So basically, as long as I don't have many cities, what era number is modern era in? Hang on, I always have to work this out. Ancient is 1, classical is 2, medieval is 3, renaissance is 4, industrial is 5, modern era is 6. As long as I have 6 or less cities, I will keep that super monument. As soon as I go to 7th, then it gets removed. So I'm not going to have loyalty pressures really up until the point that I lose the super monument, and I'm going to be building districts pretty quick. So kind of the idea is to make sure that all these cities can do something first. As you can see, it is incredibly crammed, and basically this is kind of like imagining in 1750 I have just fought for my independence and I have just won it. This is the sort of like random made up history we are making to kind of explain this game. We have just had a war of independence. Because of that, every single person who had a presence in this area has just declared war on me, including England's allies, which is why I've got more people that have declared on me. Greece, England, Portugal, Scotland and Norway, European powers that are currently winning the game, have all declared war on me. I'm also at war with the Aztecs and the Cree, who on this map are quite far behind. So if I show you the Cree, was the science thing, I've got 44 techs. Cree are on 36, Aztec is on 37, so they're all about an age behind me. They represent the sort of indigenous population of the continent. We're still colonizing, we're still fighting, they still exist. And look at all these settlers. I've been given 7 settlers. I can guarantee there will not be any space on this world to settle them. They are going to be pretty pointless and just used for visibility, really. We've got to survive, and I've got a couple of ideas. I want to try and win a science victory, but I am kind of far behind. I don't even have rocketry. I have, just to show you my techs, all the way up to refining for battleships and oil, and I have artillery. Artillery is by far my strongest unit. I don't have flight, but I seem to have been spawned with at least 1 observation balloon. This thing will be absolute gold dust for me. I have steam power, but I don't have flight, sanitation, or economics. That's kind of where I've got to round about now. I also have unlocked the naughty fascist government along with democracy. I have technically unlocked democracy. I haven't unlocked the civic, but I do have democracy. I don't have opera and ballet, I don't have conservation, but I also have Cold War and space race. So we have some really advanced techs and civics, and we've also started with about 40,000 gold and about 20,000 faith. The only person I'm not at war with, actually the people, are the 2 city-states and the Mayans below me. Everyone else I'm at war with. This is going to be a carnage start. Somebody is already on the moon. I am far behind. I need to sort out what's going on. We're going to have to play this very hard. I've got 2,000 military strength worth of troops, but this is an absolutely terrifying start. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts. This, on turn 261, is going to be carnage late game content. But before we get started today, a quick update on something concerning. Here is Ursa Bear. Ursa Bear was unfairly expelled from Oxford University's Civ 6 program. Ursa Bear now has 30,000 signatures, and with that, magical powers were bestowed upon him to see the invisible. And Ursa Bear noticed something. An invisible, kind, helpful man. A man called Paul. Don't let Ursa Bear be distracted by the terrible spy Paul. Help Ursa Bear focus on Sankor. Will you subscribe today? Thank you, and back to the video. So turn 1 or 261, depending on how you view it. What are we going to do? Now, I'm at war with everybody, and the one thing I immediately spot is Kree have a 10 population city here without walls. I do have a couple of cuirassiers, I've got some cavalry, I've got fast units, and they've only got 700 military strength. I could, in theory, attempt to go in and steal from the native indigenous population. That seems like a a very appropriate thing to do. We could also just head west generally. I want to see if I can unify North America under one banner. I think that's probably fair. To do that, as ambitious as nuclear fusion is, it's letting me research this tech even though I haven't got nuclear fission or combined arms. Weird that it's letting me do that. I don't know. Oh, smart materials. It's actually shown that for me. That's cool. I also don't have flight, and I think advanced flight is absolutely going to be what I need in this game. I also need to tech up fast, so I think getting my campuses out is going to be very important. I am playing as Lincoln. Now, America generally means that all diplomatic policy slots in the current government are converted to wildcard slots. That's really good. You get one diplomatic favor every turn for every wildcard slot in the government. That's not going to be very useful. However, I have the Emancipation Proclamation. Industrial zones give me loyalty. Plantations, minus loyalty. I receive a 3 mil unit after constructing an industrial zone and its building. The 3 unit does not require resources when created to maintain, and it receives 5 combat strength. So basically, if it takes oil per turn because it's inventory, doesn't take the oil, and that plus 5 combat strength stacks really nicely. Each city can get a minimum of 4 3 units because the industrial zone and then the 3 buildings in it, workshop, factory, and then a power plant, all count. You spawn the most advanced unit available to you at the time. At the moment, that is line infantry, 65 strength, 82 strength in army. Very powerful, but I could wait until I get replaceable parts. Now, this is something I could rush in theory. I could get inventory that doesn't take oil and start spamming it out. Do I want to do that before getting planes? Yes. Yes, I think I do. We're going to go replaceable parts. We're going to go economics, inventory, then put down my industrial zones. I could start to spam line inventory, but I think I'm going to wait until I can get through inventory. It's fine. I also start in a golden age, which is absolutely wonderful. Everyone on this continent is gold apart from the Mayans, so we're not going to get a loyalty bonus, but it does mean we can do things that are going to be useful for me. Hixon Draconas, faster naval units and more population when settling. I'm not going to settle. I'll be honest with you now, it's going to be very unlikely. Reform the coinage. Now, this is interesting. I could, in theory, get international trade routes with more gold and have traders that can't be plundered. Have you seen how many people I am currently at war with? That is not a bad idea. Heartbeat of Steam is good for wonders and also turns campus adjacency into production. Now, I could get campus adjacency pretty quickly, and getting campuses is something that I would quite like to do. In terms of wonders, because we've spawned into the game so late, it's like kind of how we exist in real life, right? We were born in the 20th and 21st centuries, and all of these classic wonders were built way before our time. It's happened. The ancient wonders of the world exist. There's only a couple of things I can still build, so wonder building's not going to be very good at all. To arms, now I'm already at war with people, so Golden Age wars are not going to be very helpful unless I make peace with people and redeclare war on them. That's actually not a bad idea. But 15% production towards military units is good for when I start to do things like making planes. To me, it's going to be, do I lean on the trading bonuses I get and get traders that don't get pillaged, or do I go to arms? Now, if you can see, the quality of the trade routes available to me at the moment are pretty poor. I think I'm going to go to arms, get myself more production towards military units. I don't know if it's the best thing to do, but it's something that we have done. Oh, Scott Joplin. That's 3 sources of music. We seem to have started with tons of musician points. I have enough faith to just buy out at least one great scientist or great general or great admiral or somebody like that. This general is atomic and information era units. Atomic units are actually beyond what I've got, so the great general would be useless to me right now. But I would be able to use them later in the game when I get things like rocket artillery, when I get things like modern armor. You know what? I actually am going to save this great general for later. That for me is not a bad use of faith. I'm really not going to use religion very much. Speaking of religion, I have one of my cities converted to Ifa. That is the work ethic religion of Norway. So I could get some work ethic if I wanted to. The other religion I've seen around me is this one, Mahayana. That religion is the Zen meditation one. Okay, that's not too good. Not too interesting. God, one of the big problems in these cities are going to be, how on earth do I move all my units out without triggering some sort of problem here? Yeah, we're going to need a couple of turns at the very least to just sort of unwind my units. Now, Washington is 11 population and has no districts. Manchester is 7 population, has no districts. For whatever reason, Tlacopan has a water park. Why? I have no idea. It's about to get pillaged almost entirely at the same time, but it does have it. I also have steel walls, but my walls are shooting currently, you can see there, with 3 strength because I haven't built a unit from my city yet, which is a bit annoying. I have 19 envoys. I could, in theory, no, I couldn't even get Mexico City on side. That's the crazy thing, but I could get Cahokia. I'm tempted to do that, actually, but I need to sort my government out first. Let's sort the government out first. Basically, it's a choice. Do I want to go democratic and trade with city-states, or do I want to go fascist and go to war? We know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to play Naughty America, 4 military policies, 1 economic policy slot, and 3 wild cards. First thing that goes in, levy en masse, 90 gold per turn, you say? Brilliant. Logistics is also going to go in immediately. I'm tempted to pop in Wars of Religion temporarily. If religion gets thrown around in this game, I could get +4 combat strength from quite a few people. And whilst all this stuff is pretty good, I'm going to put forced modernization in just for a second. I have a feeling I'm not going to be producing units just for a little bit. Just until I work out what on earth is going on and what I can be using. Like, for instance, oil. Oil is a problem. I've got lots of artillery and no oil per turn coming in. And let me just tell you now, there's no oil in my empire. It just doesn't exist. Economic policy. What could I get? Builders are normally pretty handy, and I'm going to work some stuff out. So I get public works just for a little bit until I figure out what's going on. Martial law is a lot less war weariness and more loyalty. That is really, really handy. I'm going to go for containment just for a second so that I can put some envoys down at city-states. And you know what? I'm going to put propaganda in for a sec as well, because war weariness is going to be a real issue. So I've got 25% less, I've got 25% less, and I have 15% less. I'm on 35% war weariness. That should help a lot. Looks like England's army is sort of medieval to Renaissance strength. Looks like Aztecs is more into the industrial era. Cree remains a mystery. Norway seems to be about the same thing. Canada is about to appear, and I just don't trust whatever Canada's doing. Oh, the Aztecs are thoroughly in my land. What I'm going to have to do is really weird, but I'm going to have to just sort of like... Oh, yeah, all these actually have 3 movement because of the supply convoys. Oh, I love that. I'm going to have to actually... they've all got promotions, but I want to make cores from them. But I want to promote them first. Let's get crew weapons on this one. I might lose some army doing this sort of thing. I'll get grape shot on this one. So those 2 will get promoted together. And I've got 2 more artillery, actually. This one I'm going to give grape shot, and this one I'm going to give crew weapons, and then they can combine next turn. Yeah, I'm going to have to spend a bit of time going through this. I'll do this off camera. It's not so interesting. I'm just promoting all of my units, giving them all sorts of different upgrades so that when I combine them all together, they can all do different things. Actually, I'm going to get 3 Curacao because there was actually like a 3 unit just in my borders. I love that. I'm also going to be doing just a little bit of district building. Not a huge amount, but just a little bit. I'm going to put the government plaza down there so that I can then campus this spot. That city will be able to campus there, which will be quite handy. I'll aqueduct over to this point as well. Going to be a lot of building. There's going to be an absolute ton of building. It seems like a really weird choice, but I'm going to buy a battleship for about 2 grand in Manchester. It's in a lake. It's totally landlocked. But what it does is it actually gives my city strength a 70 strength shot, which is going to be very, very useful at just dispersing some of these enemy troops which are deciding to absolutely plague me. I took over half an hour to manage, but I finally managed to press end turn. Let's see what happens as Canada appears, no doubt. Oh, well, okay. That's my capital. Canada's here, and Canada's just stolen Washington from me. Okay. And now they're saying my troops are merely pass. Look. Okay. What on earth has just gone on there? What happened to my monument? Even my monument's gone. All right. This is an absolute problem. We are gonna have to sort this out quickly. I realize I haven't even put my governors down. Oh, and I'm gonna lose this city in 3 turns. The American Revolution is absolutely at the risk of being defeated before it even started. I've got to go to war with Canada immediately. I've got to steal my city back. I've probably got to steal some city-states. It's probably not a bad shout either. I mean, quite frankly, emergencies are not a problem for me at the moment because Let's face it, everyone hates me. Denounce, and I think this is where the Golden Age War pays off. Oh, thank goodness. There we go. Normally you have to wait until you can declare a formal war against Canada, but I do not. Okay, we need a war governor. Victor, you've got to get in as quickly as possible. Give you garrison commander, defense logistics, and embrasure. Other governors, I've got six promotions at the moment. I don't know which ones I'm going to need. Oh, they even got my battleship. They sunk my battleship. I didn't even sink it. They just stole it. Oh man, this is an absolute car crash. I think I've got to declare war on Mexico City immediately. I'm going to need this land to strike at Washington. I'm going to need to steal Mexico City for loyalty, aren't I? Yep, we're going to go full war. Full war. This is the only way we will survive this. I think with Canada, that's kind of it now. There's nothing too bad that's going to happen to this game after Canada spawning in, I hope. I've also managed to save my loyalty, so I've got about 5 turns. Do I go for Mexico? Do I go for Cahokia? I could just go for Cahokia. Before I do that, I'm just going to continue. I think just spending 1 extra turn, just coring my units up. This is going to be very useful. Oh, I lost my super monument. So I'm not even building the stuff very quickly at the moment. That's a terrible thing. One of the main things I've got to do actually is somehow rescue my army so that it's all kind of like in the same area. This Canadian schism has massively dented my maneuverability here, and I am not enjoying that. Yeah, and this is just now, I get to watch and wait as all of my army gets destroyed as it's been split in half. Man, if I survive this start, if we pull through from this, I think this is going to be one of the comebacks of the channel so far. This will be absolutely an event. Yep. Everything's being shot. Everything's being shot. You're going to see this a lot. Pantheon appears and yeah, can't choose anything. It's really annoying. What you going to do? Actually, you know, I can hit Washington pretty hard. I could steal Washington. It wouldn't necessarily be such a bad idea. Cahokia also can get hit pretty bad. There's a lot of options here. A lot of options. Mexico City's on the coast. That's the only problem. I think this entire survival is going to be just on the placement of these artillery, keeping them alive, moving them from tile to tile and making sure that they can attack. I could get this artillery army to the tile of this pike and shot in theory. I'm pretty sure I could do that, but I need the pike and shot to definitely move off. So what we'll do is we'll just quickly Curaçao attack once, attack twice. Good. That means now the supply convoy has to come with. I'll move to this tile, like so. Yeah, perfect. Now the observation balloon needs to stay in range as well, which is done. Which means I can now fire over the top, hit Washington for a big amount of damage. We just need to open this up enough that I can move units in, take the city. Oh, I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to have to drop a government plaza down in this city thinking about it. Yeah, we'll do that. That government plaza will finish. That'll give the city 8 more loyalty per turn. That'll be enough to do most things. Yeah, feels weird to do it like that, but I think it's the best way. Russia. Never before meeting Russia would I have thought as America. My goodness, we have a trade partner. Have you got any luxuries for me? Oh, they don't have anything. 1 city and 5 population. I think Russia's not done so well this game. I just get that feeling. Okay, loyalty stabilized. I'm still only 41% loyal, but it's fine. We'll get... do I spend the gold on a Ferris wheel and an aquarium? I've got the immunities at the moment. I don't have any war weariness coming through. I feel like war weariness is going to happen at some point because I'm losing a lot of troops per turn here. Actually, you know what? Scrap that. This is the city I'm going to go for. The Aztec city. 17 population's huge. But more importantly, there's a nice defensible river for me to line my artillery up on that I can use to do some real damage here. Now, it will leave my artillery open a little bit to some attacks, but I can line them both up like so and fire over the top. That's a much better target for me. I reckon only a few turns worth of combat needed and I should be fine. The rest of my army is going to engage with Canada in like a sort of field war, but I don't need to race through here. This is just going to be a bit more patient. I'm going to just take my time, make sure I've got good strong units that are doing good damage. Like here, for instance, this field cannon can just lay waste to some of these cavalry units. Look, there we go. Right, I've got an actual unit right on the border with Canada now. That means if I did attack the city, I'd have a lot more luck. The Dutch with 2 luxuries. That's good. The more people I meet, the more luxuries I'm picking up. Egypt, same deal. Seem to be having a strong game. Looking forward to meeting everybody. Actually, Egypt has aluminium they could sell me. I will remember that for a bit later. Egypt are actually second in the tech tree as well. Nice. Dutch are a bit ahead of me. Okay, I think I might change my mind again. Washington is weaker, and I actually have units right by it. Aztec have thrown a bunch of units at me from nowhere. Absolutely nowhere, and they are breaking through, hitting my artillery, being a real nuisance. Don't want that to happen, so I think I'm going to have to pull my artillery forward. So I've got 2 now set up. This is really, really good. Between the supply convoy I've got set up and the observation balloon, these artillery are incredibly versatile. There's 1 hit on Washington. There's 2 hits on Washington. You know what? I actually might be able to take this city back maybe next turn, providing my units can survive. That is a big maybe, but it's possible. I think Warlord's Throne has gotta be the choice for this run, isn't it? We're going to do a lot of war. A lot of war. A lot of unification. Unbelievably, I just got a military ally in the Dutch. Oh, one friend. One friend. You are not at war with Canada right now, are you? But you will be soon. Anyone I can get a joint war with is going to be +5 combat strength for me. That's a huge difference. The good thing as well is because I went for Victor in my city. This city has a battleship strength attack, and it can attack twice. So as the Aztecs are moving their troops across the river, I'm just blasting them back, which gives me as much time as I need for my artillery to make short work of Washington. Dido, just meeting random people now. It's good. The more people I meet, the closer I get to a golden age. Not that I think a golden age is going to be problematic for me, but always good to have. No, Cahokia, I kind of wanted to be at war with you. You don't get to decide that we have peace, my friend. There's a strike. I actually bought myself more artillery in order to make sure these were all armies. But there's the city down to pretty much 0 health. Let's get the line infantry in, take the city, bam. It's down to 15 population, which is now my biggest city, and the loyalty is problematic. However, I have fascist government, so I'm pretty sure we'll be able to keep this without too much issue. Pingala, in you go. Let's give you connoisseur, let's give you researcher. That'll be a good use of a couple of governor titles. Let's immediately get the outer defenses repaired, and I'm gonna just use these builders really quickly to try and chop something down. Well, I have a fact. I actually ended up getting more builders and more traders from this city, even though I already had quite a few. Oh yeah, this is what I mean about the defense. It's like attack, attack. I just met Japan as well. Brilliant. Hello, Japan. Each turn is just a variety of chaos, and I love it. But I have a field cannon in my city with 102 strength. Look at that. 1 strike, 2 strikes. We're baiting these Aztec units out very effectively right now, which is good. Just leaving all of these civilian units on the border, which draws their units across, which gives me another turn or 2 to strike, which is wonderful. Washington is getting fixed. Let me just quickly remove the woods. There we go. That chops the walls right through. Now we've got a couple of units that can be used on this. Oh, I've almost got the situation where my line infantry can actually come back and keep themselves safe. Can I actually get you back in? I think I can, you know. I think I can. Can I rescue you? Oh, not quite, but if I blow this unit to bits and then move you across, I think I can almost save my line infantry. That's going to be frustratingly close. One thing that's a little bit worrying is the era start building, which gives me all the housing and the amenities. It's counting as pillaged, but I don't have an option to fix it right now. I'm hoping the mod sorts itself out, but I have a horrible feeling that losing that city that quickly might have glitched it slightly, but we'll see. I think 13 population Cahokia. City-states are pretty easy to attack compared to other things. The Aztec city is there, and it is possible to strike it. 17 population, that would be huge. But the Aztecs strike a lot harder, and I think the city-state's very powerful. Now we're going to get the Cahokia. For better or worse, I think it's the easiest strike for me here. It's going to take a few turns to pillage it, but we can do it. Cahokia's defenses are now up a little bit stronger, so again, I'm just going to keep changing my mind. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 tiles like that to there and to there. There we go. Now all I need to do is get my supply convoy down. The supply convoy adds 1 movement to the artillery, which means that they have the still unpatched problem where if they start the turn with more than 2 movement, they can move and fire, which is why I have logistics on in my nation. It's making it a lot easier, but I reckon we're not far now from having a good strike on the Aztecs. Yeah, still counts as broken, unfortunately. That's unfortunate. I don't think the mod is supposed to be like that. It's just counting as pillaged. Never mind, we're going to have to build Washington up the old-fashioned way by doing useful things in it. Get the campuses up and running. I'm focusing on getting campuses because I want my science per turn to be fairly high. I need to get inventory as quick as possible. My pillaging, honestly, my pillaging is pretty much my greatest form of science in the game at the moment. And I'm just thinking, actually, do I have the extra combat experience card? No, I don't. Something to keep an eye on that. One strike against Viz. Now 18 Pop City. It's growing in front of my very eyes. That is lovely. Oh, yeah, the walls are down. That's good. Get a field cannon strike on it. That brings it down to red health. Good. Oh, there's the Warlord's Throne. That's nice. I like the Warlord's Throne. That's good. 20% production in my cities every time I capture a city now. Tell you what, it might be a bit of suicide, but I'm going to put 8 envoys into Mittler just to open up a little bit more of the map to the left of this battleground that I'm fighting now. Although, saying that, the visibility glitch is probably going to happen. No, it didn't. Oh, wonderful. Okay, right. Now, this is good. The Kree Empire is open. I really want to be taking over as much of that as possible. That is like a really good source of expansion for me, as is the Aztec Empire in defense. However, most importantly, where is the oil? Loads of oil in lakes. Why is it so difficult to find? Yeah, I need to get it very quickly. Plastics is a little far away, but if I don't get oil, my artillery are going to seize up very quickly, and that's not a good thing. There was a Nobel Prize in Literature, apparently. I got second. Cool, I get better rock band sales. I think that's because of the starting bonuses I got when I spawned in. Didn't do anything about that. All right, artillery strike number 1. Bam. That city is now hopefully mine, and fingers crossed it'll be loyally stable. Once I keep it, yes, it certainly is. It's only just stable, though. That's pretty weird. But the era start building is working in this city. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, good. So at least we've got some resources firing off this city. That's a good sign. 17 population. I mean, Washington has Pingala in it. Who am I going to put in this one? I think Raina for some gold, maybe? I mean, I've got vast resources of gold. I might as well just buy in some districts. Forestry management, tax collector, contractor. There we go. That'll do. Next target. I could push into Aztec now. Oh, this is a good chance as any, actually, to just get rid of some of these wars. So Eleanor of Aquitaine, I don't need to fight. Scotland as well. Robert the Bruce, I don't need to fight you. 55 gold? You know what? I can do that. Portugal, I thought you because you were allied to somebody, and Norway, you've lost all of your cities in the north, but I can always declare war on you again sometime soon, as can I. Greece. Perfect. That will take a huge amount of war weariness off me. I didn't think I actually had any war weariness at all. Oh no, -1. That's it. Yeah, no, because of my governments, it's looking pretty good. So I'm only at war with Aztec and Kree and Canada. Could make peace with Kree, but Kree aren't really causing me any problems right now, so I'm tempted to kind of leave them alone. And the most exciting thing is I can now build up a navy again, which is amazing. Do I have a harbour in the city? There is a harbour in the city. It's got the best buildings that I can afford. Let's get a battleship. We've still got about, I'd say, 7 units worth of gold still. That's all I'm using on my units at the moment, or with my gold I'm just getting more and more and more units. It's all good. Well, Bermuda Triangle. Let's shovel my settlers through the Bermuda Triangle. I mean, why not? At this point, you might as well. That's what I say. Yeah, I get to vote. Let's do culture bombs. Let's do purchasing with gold is cheaper. I'm going to vote for me because I don't really care who wins. I'm a Nobel Prize for Physics. Go on then. I'm wondering if I could strike to the north quickly and steal that city. And I'm wondering as well if I just want to make peace with the Aztecs briefly, just to concentrate my forces to the north. I don't think I've got Golden Age wars, so I can always come back to war with them later. Picking up Total War, which is a lovely card. Lets me do some more pillaging. I mean, I've got a cavalry that is basically unkillable right now in Cahokia, which is very fun. But yeah, I'm going to take Cahokia, take Mexico City, push up. But I think I can strike this city this turn. Sounds ambitious, but look, my Curacao can actually reach to the north. Means if I can get a good strike on it, I reckon that'll be enough. Let's just bring my artillery up, and with it, my observation balloon. I get a good strike on that unit, and then get that kill, steal the settler. Oh, apparently destroy the settler. Sure. We're not stealing units like that, are we anymore? We're just... Okay, no worries. 16 population Washington now, as well as getting some improved farms. That's good. The library's finished. Let's get that, the university done. Oh, up to 75 science. Spies, Foreign Ministry, or Grandmaster's Chapel? I'm going to go, Grandmaster Chapel. I've got a bit of a glut of faith. Not really much I can do with it right now, so I'm going to have some fun. Let's see what's in the Bermuda Triangle. Ethiopia is in the Bermuda Triangle. Interesting. Here you are. Now, if I'm lucky, some of Australia might be unsettled still. It looks like Phoenicia's down here, or Antarctica. You know, there are options. Vietnam. Look at this. We're being spawned into like really slightly different places here, which is quite cool. What I'm really, really hoping is that we're going to find somebody here that's got oil. Please, please, somebody be trading oil. I am running low on it really quickly. And Sweden. Sweden has 2 more luxuries. We like this. Even though I've lost my monument, because I've got so many luxuries coming in now. I've got 10 per turn. This is a huge map. I think all 26 luxuries are on this map. So we can force our cities to be ecstatic. I'm up to 80 science per turn as well. Focusing on getting these campuses down, it's been very helpful. Luckily for me as well, the Aztecs built at least a single campus. That is an industrial zone with a workshop and a factory, which is good, but I was saving these until I had inventory. But it's not far off now. Not far. We're going to inventory spam very soon using Lincoln's ability. There'll be 80 strength when they spawn. There'll be 97 once they're in armies. Oh, it'll be good. All right, let's try my luck up here. So where is my fast moving unit? It's over there. Let's move you up the road. I can get close to the city, which is good. That means all I need is 1 good artillery strike, which I should be able to do if I can bring this unit up. Get the supply convoy up as well. Now we can fire and move at the same time. Strike the city, take it out. Population 10 now. Of course, because it counts as one of my sort of like initial cities, which is really good. Let's stick Magnus in there. Keep it loyal. Hey, that is opportunistic, but that is wonderful at the same time. And Canada's been building battleships, and those battleships, luckily, have no coal. This is what's going to happen to my artillery if I'm not careful with the oil. Really, really hoping Canada is going to have oil somewhere in the north, but I have genuinely haven't found any yet. Actually, what I could do is just bring these settlers down to Antarctica, which I believe exists on this map a little bit. Go and see if I can find some oil. And finally, a very special shout out goes to Glorious Petra, Matthew Wilkinson, Paul Coffey, Dayboy91, Sean Cretes, Portland, Scott Stratton, Major King Kong, Davalek, Skeptical Bear, Kroger Brand Trail Mix, Alex Noob, Cinnamon Beard, Petra Ryan, Matthew Hatch, Rom88, Radiatore, Private Selection Genoa Salami, Boyzoro, Callum Billy, Garrett Gowan, Polar Bear Ray, El Truand, Creston, RB Hedge, Mushkin Mandletort, Esri Dax, Deeble Time, Shoelace, Burial, I'm Daft, Gooberman, Clint Hennes, Dr. Bobby, Polar Waller Bear. Thank you all for your support. See you next time. Goodbye.